Hello everyone, my name is Muhammad Abdul Hafid, and today I'm going to show you Nuxt rendering modes. What do I mean by this? So previously we explained what is server-side rendering and data fetching with Nuxt JavaScript. But now, sometimes, or maybe some people may be asking, do we just use Nuxt when we want to use something like server-side rendering? Well, the answer is no. Actually, Nuxt has a lot of modes that we can use, and caching, and even use single-page applications if you like Nuxt better than Vue. Because for me, Nuxt is much more easier than Vue in terms, for example, in pages, layouts, etc. So let's dive in this tutorial. So by default, server-side rendering is enabled on every Nuxt app. And what does server-side rendering means? If you wanna, let's explain it pretty quick, pretty fast. So let me go to Figma and open a specific FigJam to actually understand how server-side rendering works. Okay, so simply we have like a specific backend server. Cool. Let's call it backend. Don't mind my handwriting. Okay, backend. And then here we have our, let's say, our phone. Previously, when we wanted to actually use like Vue JavaScript for single page application, I will just hit the backend. They will give me back an index page, an HTML empty page though, and then a JavaScript bundle to handle all the route changes, etc., data fetching, and everything. So everything now is being handled on the client side, and this is server side. I mean, this is how SPA works. But now for server-side rendering, what will happen that we have a middleware, a middleman, okay? And this middleman is a third server. It's called like a JavaScript server, a node server. And this is a front end in our case. So now server-side rendering is enabled. That means when we go to this specific route on the front end, this front end will see all the fetching and everything in this page and do it for the backend, and then the backend will send back all the data. And now we will have a completed component ready HTML page, the initial page. For example, let's say that we fetched like 10 products. We will have the 10 products here like in HTML. And then we will also have the JavaScript bundle that it should go there to handle route changes. Why we do this? Simply because we want Google, in our case, maybe, or any search engine crawler, to see that plain HTML text so they can do search engine optimization. So we can actually find pages and website by just naming something in this page. And that's how server-side rendering works. So let's now get back to Nuxt and test this out. So now let's say I have this Nuxt config, it has nothing in it. I have this page called index and I just put hello there. Let me now refresh the page and click Ctrl U. Ctrl U shows you the source page, the initial page that has been sent from the front end server. And we can see now that we have the hello there. See? And that's super cool. But in single page applications, the source page or the first page or the initial page is always empty. Let's test this out. So if I went to Nuxt config now and type SSR false, that means, please Nuxt, use now this website as more likely without server-side rendering, so it's like single page application. So now when I click on Ctrl U on this page, let me just refresh, I will not have anything by like hello there or anything, just an empty page, the same way we did with view. So now it's like we just create what some single page application page, and that's cool so far. But also there's a great thing about Nuxt that we have another thing called static site generation, SSG. And what does this mean? I think it's pretty obvious. We just build the pages statically. Let's explain this pretty quick. So let me now just put this page right here. So now when we build the app as developers, okay, without now any type of requests or anything, me as a developer, I will build, let me just get closer, I will build the Nuxt app. When I build it, or let's say not build it, when we generate it, because we have two commands. Generate is for the static. So when I generate the websites, what will happen that the time that we generate this website, the front end that we made in Nuxt will do all the fetching. So it will do the fetching and get back the fetching and create what a static, like an HTML page that has these data from here, and also with the JavaScript bundle for any potential buttons, JavaScript things, you know, some like the JavaScript bundle. Maybe you'll ask me, okay, what is the difference between this and this? So this, the server-side rendering, is on each route change. So each time I go to this route, it will go and take back the data. But this one, no. This will do it just only once when I build the page. So when I build the page using Nuxt or like npm run generate, it will do everything, the fetching and create the components only once. And each time now I'm going to request this page, it will show me this, I mean not show me, like it will send back this already made component as the source page. So this one, it will send me the source page like dynamically based on each route. So if the data changes the backend, I will see the new data. But here we will not. We will always see the old data. And this is actually crucial. But maybe you'll ask me, okay, Mo, why do we even use this type of static site? Like, why do we use static site generation? Because maybe we have some websites that we don't care about the source page of this content. And also, before completing, some people maybe will be wondering, does static mean that we cannot fetch any more data in this page? No, you can still fetch data. So like it will be acting like a single page application, but with static HTML files. And these HTML files will not be empty the same way as single page application. They will have some data, and these data are from the build. So now let us test this out. What about this? So let's go to this I can has that joke, which I always use. And this API will give us some random jokes. So let's go to the index page and use fetch composable to take these data back. So data, and I will call it joke equal use fetch composable with this, and I will add headers application, accept application /JSON. And let's now see this joke, .joke. How can you tell a vampire has a cold? They start coughing. Okay, that's bad. Okay, so the thing is now, every time I go to this page, I get a new what? A new joke, right? But if I go to the terminal and I type npm run generate, it will generate each page as statically using static site generation, and I will explain this in a moment. So wait now, let's wait for the page to actually get generated. Cool, it's now generated. So now if I went back to the page, I mean the test file, or like the output public, it's all both the same, and I found out this index.html page, and let me just run it in the browser. Look what I found. I will find this specific joke, and this specific joke will be sent with all the requests to this index page, even though it will be updated because the use fetch will be running on the client side again, but the source page will always be this. I will demonstrate this by publishing this like to GitHub Pages, and we can see that together. But for now, let's just explain what does this mean. So simply, this HTML page will be sent with each request, and then with the JavaScript bundle, it will fetch again a new joke and put it above this one. But the source code or the source page will always be this one, and that's the problem with static site generation. So we don't use it. We want to fetch data. We mostly use it. We want to have like a page that will not be all the time changing. For example, like about us page. An about us page could use like static site generation, and we don't care if that, like maybe we can change the about us in the backend, but it will not be that big of a change that I should rebuild again. So it's okay if the source page doesn't like exactly match the about us from the use fetch again on the client side. Simply I don't care, because that's why we use static site generation. So let me explain this again so you can guys understand what happens. So what happens in static site generation is that each time I go to the front end, I will take back the already built component when I generated this using Nuxt terminal, for example. After this, and it will send back a JavaScript file. Like I once told this to my friends, and they have told me that, okay, so basically JavaScript will not work. No, that doesn't, like static doesn't mean like this. So it does just mean that the source page will always be the same jokes. Like the source page will always be the joke that has been sent when we built the user. I mean, not the user, we built the page. And that's it. I think now it's kinda maybe hard to understand, but that's alright. Cool. So now let's complete. Let me now go to the other thing we're gonna talk about, which is the rendering modes now. So now after we understand how can we generate website using static site generation, how can we use server-side rendering, and how can we use single page applications, now we can easily go to the other things, the other rendering modes by Nuxt. So let's talk about these. So pre-render simply means that it's exactly like static site generation. It's like me telling Nuxt, make this page static site generation. Maybe you'll ask me, okay, then Mo, why would we use this if we can just type npm run generate, not build? Simply because maybe I will have more than one page. I could have like 2 pages, and these like this. Maybe we have like 10 pages. All of these 10 pages, I want one of them to be pre-render, another one I want to be single page application, another one I don't want to have like single page applications. So did you get me? So that's why we use pre-render on the pages. So when we hit npm run build, it will build pages based on these routes. But when I type npm run generate, it will ignore all the route rules and just make it all static. Cool. So let's test this out. What about that? Let me now create a page and call it pre-render .view, and I will copy everything from here, put it here, and we will just go to our Nuxt config and type route rules, and we can go with slash pre-render. We want to make it pre-render true. So this now, let's go to the pre-render page. I'll show you now what can we do. So the index now have the same joke and the pre-render have the same joke. But the Nuxt config, we will just pre-render the slash pre-render page. And that's now pretty important for us. I want to show an example now. Let me just create the Nuxt link for the pre-render, and pre-render. So now when I type npm run build, not generate, it will build the index page as server-side rendering with the Nitro server, but the pre-render page will be statically generated. So that's why we will use this pre-render route rules. So now let's just let it finish. Okay, cool. I think it finished. See, now it's pre-rendering specific route. So now if we went back to the assets, the output, sorry, we have a public, we have a server. Okay, server, never mind, so stick with the public. So I have like a pre-render website that has this pre-render website, like this pre-render, like, the pre-render page, and it has the joke as well. And maybe you'll ask me, okay, what is the index page? It's in the Nuxt. Why it's in the Nuxt? Because this will use server-side rendering, but this one will not use server-side rendering. This will use the static side generation, and that's it. So I hope you guys now understand these simple things. Maybe my explanation not the best, but I mean, I'm trying. So let's now get back to our Nuxt config and complete the rendering modes. So now we have also something called SWR. Before SWR, let me show you what does caching mean. So we can cache data not by using, like we can use the server folder to create specific caching methods, but Nuxt have provided us with simple things to not deal with the Nitro server. We can just use them. So let me now show you. I will create a new route called slash cache. Okay, and this cache page will have a caching to set to 10. I think so. I think we should type it like true. Like there's specific. Okay, wait. So I think we should put like cache 10 and then SWR false. I actually forget. Wait, let me check out and come back. Okay, I'm back. Now I checked the internet, and now we should like put it's an object, and now we can take like max age could be 10, and then we should put SWR false. I will explain why SWR false is important right here. So simply this slash cache page we don't have yet, so let me just do it slash cache. Sorry, I mean cache dot view. And let's also put the same joke again and again. Let me now put a Nuxt link for it. Cache. So now we can talk about how can we cache data using route rules. So simply here, it's like me telling Nuxt that this page, cache it for 10 seconds, and then show a new joke. So now, see the home page now, there's a loading state. But for the caching page, I would always see the same joke for 10 specific seconds. So see, will always see the joke all the time for 10 seconds, and then I will see a new joke. That's pretty cool. So now let's get back to SWR. What does SWR mean? SWR means stale while rendering. So now let me do something again. So now, as we said, that this will cache for 10 seconds. After the 10 seconds, it will load a new joke. But when I type true now, cool. Wait. Hopefully now it will work. Wait. Okay, let's now complete. So in this page also we can use, I mean, the thing is the SWR should be in the caching, because SWR is a it's like a caching method, so that's why we should put it in the caching. Okay, so now what will happen now with SWR true, that even after the 10 seconds I will not see a loading state. I will see a new joke without the loading, without calling an API. Why is that? We'll explain this in a moment. So now I will keep refreshing. After 10 seconds, I will get a joke, see, without any type of loading or delay for the API call. Because SWR means stale while rendering, I think, or like while redirecting, something like this. It means that when we request our cache route, it will show us a cached joke and also in the background make a new joke. That's what SWR do. And wait for the max age, or like for the caching to finish, and then show us this a new joke that made by SWR in the beginning. So SWR is pretty fast. So if I remove max age as well, and now we will see that on each refresh I will see a cached joke, and then on the next refresh I will have a new joke. And this will make the users much more like the navigation will be much more easier for the users, because we will show them a new, like a cached data till the new request gets back, which is the new joke. Like Nuxt development server is pretty like fast, as you can see. So why do ducks make great detectives? They always crack the case. Okay, so now when we reload the page, see, pretty fast, pretty fast. If I did it pretty fast, I will see like the same joke twice, because it will show me, see, it will show me a cached joke till the new joke arrives. So when I refresh, there's two things happening: show me a cached joke, and then look for like send a new request for joke. And the great thing about SWR, we can type like not max age, like there's like stale max age, yeah. Stale max age, that means I want you know what, let's stick with max age. So now if I type max age 10, so that means every 10 seconds show me a cached joke, also update this cached joke to a new joke. That's why SWR true is very crucial, very important. And we can type stale max age, and we can type like 60 maybe, or like 100 seconds. That means every 100 seconds, if there's no request made, and because as I told you, SWR will wait for a request to hit a new joke and put it in the cache. This simply will say if in 100 seconds no one requested this route, you by yourself remove the cache and put a new joke. So it's pretty cool, pretty amazing. And yeah, so wait. Okay, so now let's complete. So now we also have the last thing, which is ISR, Incremental Static Regeneration. What does this mean? It's actually pretty easy to understand. If you guys understood what is pre-render, then ISR will be almost the same thing. So we said before that when we pre-render a page, it will be pre-rendered on the server as a full component, and each time I request this page, I will get back this static made source page with the JavaScript bundle that could maybe fetch a new data, etc. But what do we mean by this now? But ISR simply will rebuild this page in like maybe you put the time. So I could be like this cache page, for example. I could just give it like, forget about the caching methods right here. I could just type ISR incremental static regeneration. I could just type 3,600 seconds. That means in 1 hour, right? Yeah. So in each 1 hour, this page will be rebuilt. But this specific feature is mostly used by like your platform capabilities, like Vercel maybe could give you this specific feature, but some website doesn't, or hosting doesn't. So now I think everything is kind of like shown, and you can guys now understand what I'm talking about. So server-side rendering, simply when I hit a specific page, it will fetch the data directly and then show me that page with the source, so we can Google reads it and we can benefit from the search engine optimization. Or we can use static site generation by doing npm run generate, or use the prerender true. Simply it will show me the same built page each time in the source code, and the JavaScript bundle will be there. It could fetch new data, but the source page will be always the same. And also we talked about caching methods, like we can cache for 10 seconds and then after 10 seconds we could make a new joke, or use SWR with it. So SWR, we talked about it, that it will cache the data for 10 seconds, for example, and when you hit that route, you will see a cache data, and this cache data will be dropped and renew and being updated with a new joke. That's what SWR do. We could give it some things like max stale age or stale max age, etc. And then lastly, we talked about your own platform capabilities like Vercel, and we talked about ISR incremental static regeneration that will rebuild it on demand, like on specific time, maybe like every 2 days, every 3 days, etc. And also we talked about single page application by doing the SSR false. So I think that's pretty all of it. Hello guys, I'm back. The recording has stopped. I don't know why. I just wanted to say that I hope this video helps you out to understand how caching works with route rules, static site generation, with ISR maybe, and everything else. Maybe it's not the best tutorial, but at least I try to show how I understand everything, especially with static site generation. So yeah, thanks for watching.